I had a interesting comment from a commenter just the other day, and they said, you keep talking about the buy gold, with Genesis Gold and such like that. Now, of course, Genesis Gold is about if you have retirement accounts, doing that with retirement accounts. Personally, I have not purchased on my own any physical gold at all. I don't own any at all. I'm much more of a silver guy myself. But the question was, it's just like, well, you keep talking about buying gold and investing precious metals, but like I'm struggling just to put food on the table. I'm struggling right now to pay my bills and everything like that. And we're having an aftershock, of course. And we're moving. But having an aftershock here, sorry. We had an earthquake earlier today, and I'm trying to get ahead on my videos, and we are continuing to shake and everything like that. Anyway, even with the shaking, we can keep moving. What are we supposed to do when we're just struggling to make things meet at the end of the month, right? Budget-wise. And I got some advice for you. And these are not going to be easy advices. Of course, difficult things are always difficult to deal with. So none of these are like answers that you're going to go, oh, okay, well, that solves everything. No, it requires sacrifice. Everything always requires sacrifice, right? So the first thing, and we talk about this so very much, is stock up. And when you have a time of plenty, you need to stock up for a time of difficulty. And, if you're like, well, I'm already in a time of difficulty, and, I hate to say this like this, but this is a learning experience to go, well, you should have stocked up while things were better, right? If things are bad now, you should have done that back then. Now, that's not to just shame you or to be like, get in your time machine and go back, right? I mean, if there's nothing you can do about it going forward, but I want you to think about this and ask yourself this question: could things get worse? If things could get worse from where you are, you're still in a time of prosperity. You're still in a time of things being better than what they will be. And because of that, you need to plan ahead for those tough times to come. And this is rough, but when things start going downhill, we feel like things are as bad as they've been in a very long time, or maybe even potentially ever. But things can continue to get worse. And I know a lot of people are like that. They're going to the grocery store and they want to stock up, but they're seeing the prices and like, I'm not buying at those prices. But friends, what will the prices be tomorrow? What will be the prices next week or next year? If you believe that the prices next year are going to be even higher, well, then you need to continue buying. If you have the ability to do so, continue to stock up. If you don't have the ability to stock up, well, I got two more for you. One, increase your income. This is, it seems so simplistic. And the truth often is simple. It's hard to do. It's easy to say. Right? But increasing your income will allow you to stock up more, will allow you to be more prepared for the future. Also, if you do this properly, this can also increase your resiliency, right? If you stock up, you're going to be better for the hard times. But if you have increased income, say you lose your job, but you've started a side business or a side income, that will at least have something that you can pay bills with, you can at least get through hard times with. And if you invest in a business that is going to be able to operate even if the grid goes down, even if things fall apart, you will be able to continue making an actual item. You'll actually be able to manufacture something that people around you will need. So having this resiliency, I got into candle making. I was selling some candles on Amazon for a bit, and so I stocked up on wax. I got 50-pound boxes of wax and all that kind of stuff like that. I was paying like $55 per 50-pound box of wax flakes. if you go out there and try to find them right now, last I looked at them, they're like $140 for a 50-pound box. So I have a couple 50-pound boxes that I'm just going to hold on to. I haven't needed to make candles recently. It's a fun little process, and but I was set up to do it industrial like. I sold hundreds on Amazon, and but then I kind of pivoted to another product that didn't require candle making. But I have a lot of wax. I have a lot of candles, jars, and wicks and stuff like that, and fragrances too even. But I have all of that equipment, and I have all of those supplies, which makes me more resilient, because every time I go out there, I'm like, I should buy some more candles. Then I go, I have lots of candles. I have all the candles I could want. I can make lots and lots of candles. So that has made me more resilient because of that. Also, the product I moved to was a joke toilet paper. And so I have a lot of toilet paper stocked up. And that was because I was geared up for the toilet paper making season, and I did not need to use all of the toilet paper that I had amassed. And so I have well over 500 rolls of toilet paper, and that's in the back of my studio, usually back home. And that's because I needed it for the business, and because of that, I have inventory. And when the cough happened, I had right about 500 rolls of toilet paper that I then didn't have any toilet paper issue. So having a side business, if you have the right kind of side business, if you do home repair, if you do construction, if you do anything like that, well, then you're going to have a lot of supplies that are going to be really, really useful in a crisis situation. If you're making bread, or you're making cookies, you're going to have a lot of flour, and you're going to have a lot of baking products ready to go, and in a crisis situation, that's going to be great. So you can see how a side income, a side hustle, could actually be an excuse for you to get more stocked up in a certain product as well. Number 3, and this is hard, cut spending. And I'm traveling around the world again, and it's amazing how little people in other countries spend. Here in Taiwan, while it feels very much like a first world country, and to a great extent it is, but the GDP per capita in the United States is like $42,000, I think it is. Here in Taiwan, it's like $22,000 to $23,000 per person. And when you realize that they have about half the income that the people in the United States have, it does kind of show. But one of the things that just kind of blew me out of the water was, I was just thinking about it. It's like everybody here has a moped or a scooter. Everybody has scooters to get around. I was like, if you have to buy and upkeep a scooter versus buy and upkeep a car, I wonder how much money they save per year just by having scooters rather than cars. And then using mass transit a lot too. But just that idea that, they probably save quite a bit of money, and that starts closing the gap between their income and the United States income, is because in the United States you basically need to have a car or multiple cars. I mean, if you have two $30,000, $40,000 cars versus having, two scooters, I mean, you're basically working half the year just to upkeep your cars, right? So all that to say that we can cut things. We don't want to cut things. And I understand that we don't want to cut things. We don't want to cut the entertainment. We don't want to cut the eating out. We don't want to cut all the things. But you need to approach it in a way that the federal government never has. You need to start with a zero-based budgeting and say, what do I absolutely need to spend money on? And start from there and start budgeting out the things you need to spend money on, and then cutting out all the extra fluff. And if you need to go Dave Ramsey style and get your envelopes out and actually just do everything in cash in order to hold yourself accountable for what you spend, do that. because hard times are coming, friends. And hard times just tend to get harder. And you need to tighten your belt now so that you can stock up a little bit of things that really matter. Making sure that you have food, clean drinking water, making sure that you can keep the shelter, roof over your head. These are absolutely mission critical. And in the future, when you're struggling to keep that roof over your head, are you going to really be like, but I'm so glad I had Netflix last year. I'm so glad I had Netflix for the past 4 years. I'm so glad. Or would you be kicking yourself and saying, I wish I had cut Netflix the last 4 years so that I could actually pay my my bill to keep our roof over our head this month? Are you going to look back and say, I'm so glad I ate out all those times while the times were good. I'm so glad I had those good times. Or are you going to be like, I wish I had cut back on eating out so that I could put food in front of my family today? These are the hard questions that most people do not want to engage with. They do not want to discuss. They don't want to have to think about. In good times, people don't want to think about hard times. And yet, that's exactly what you need to do if you're going to be prepared for hard times. We just had the earthquake here, and it was amazing because they're in an earthquake zone. People didn't know what to do. As soon as I realized that it was a pretty serious earthquake, I mean, it was moving, right? I knew, training, what do? You get to a door frame. Now, I was in a high-rise building kind of thing, so a door frame is, I don't know how much usefulness that is, but I also knew that the most reinforced parts of the building are usually where the elevator is. So I was there like, door frame near the elevator, right? Now, some people, they, of course, everything's shaking right now. Some people ran out onto the street, and that is a huge no-no. You don't do that because the glass coming off the fronts of the buildings could hit you. Stuff coming off the tops of the buildings or the sides of the buildings could come and hit you. So you do not go outside. You stay inside, and you stay inside the modern buildings. You stay near the elevators as best you can. And so it's just, how did I know what to do? Because I've read books, and I've thought about what do you do during an earthquake. I've seen devastation after earthquakes, and I've asked the question of myself, and I started researching or whatever. Like, what should they have done in a situation like that with a devastating earthquake? What should they have done? And, then you find out. But if you don't think about hard times ahead of time, you don't know what to do when the hard times come. And so there were a bunch of people that ran out onto the street, which is the worst thing that they could possibly do. Don't be like that. When a crisis comes, be a person who's prepared, who knows what to do, but then also you've stocked up a little bit. You've prepared for the hard times so that not only can you be prepared for you and your family, but maybe you can even be assistance to other people by knowing what to do. I was trying to communicate. I don't speak Mandarin, so I wasn't able to communicate very well, but I was trying to get other people to stay right there around the elevator shaft. I was trying to get people to stay in the doorways to protect themselves from anything coming down from the ceiling and that kind of thing. But be a resource person. If you know what to do during hard times, you'll be able to give counsel. You'll be able to give wisdom to other people, and that's free. Now, you may not be able to share your supplies with people. You may have some extra seeds that maybe you can help them out with. There may be some things that you can help them out with, but the most valuable thing that you're going to be able to help people out with in crisis is wisdom, advice. Take smart moves now, smart steps today. Cut back things a little bit today. Work a little harder and start a small side business. There's a lot of tax benefits to that, as well as the fact that you can potentially, through that business, stock up some extra stuff for hard times. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.